Welcome back to the channel. I'm back today with something really special. I think one for the OGs, those people who really love Air Max 90s and those who love Patta, appreciate Patta as well and the work they do with the Air Max 90. Today what I have in hand is this pair here, which is a black pair of Air Max 90s in collaboration with Patta. It's the Wave pair and they're just pretty special. They're amazing in hand and I want to share the details of the collab, the quality, all that good stuff, so that if you're thinking of getting this pair, you know what you're looking for and what to expect. So if you're new to my channel, this is the kind of thing that I do. I try to give honest reviews of maybe less hype beastie trainers than you'll find on other channels. I try to, I just buy what I like basically. I'm on a mission to hit 2,000 subscribers this summer and I'm going to be producing loads of content. If this kind of thing you like and you're interested in, please hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about this pair. So this is an SP pair, which is a special project, and I don't usually go over every detail of the trainers that I review, but this pair I think are that special that I want you to see all the little details. So as you can see behind me, I've been a fan of the Patta Wave pack that they produced on the Air Max 1 and also the chlorophyll. I just think many of the pairs that Patta do with Air Max and Nike are fantastic. I wasn't so sure about this Wave pair on the Air Max 90s. They've been teased for a while, and the first two pairs, I think the Cyber pair and the Sapphire pair, didn't appeal to me because I had trainers that are really similar to those pairs. And I'm not at the point where I want to buy pairs that look like pairs that I already have. So this black pair was the pair that when they were teased, I immediately liked. They're my favorite pair of the four. They don't seem to be everyone else's favorite pair. Everyone else seems to like other pairs. This pair for me was the best pair. So let's talk about the details of this trainer. Let's start with the box. So it comes with this box, which is very similar to the other Wave pairs that were released earlier, and it has kind of embossed Patta branding and Nike branding, and I like the way they kind of give you clues as to the other pair. So that's the colour of one of the pairs, that's the colour of another pair, there's a white pair and there's a black pair, and they did that with these black boxes as well. It says on the box that it is Air Max 90 SP2, black, white and particle grey, so that's the technical colours for it. And inside the tissue paper has this big Patta branding with these little Air Max logos, which is the Air Max that you see on the side of the trainer, the kind of logo on the side of the Air Max 90. So as usual with Patta, they go a little bit above and beyond, I would say, other collaborators, and just loads of great details. And I really like that box. I know you can't wear the box, but it just feels like the brand cares and want to go extra detail. So I think the box has got Patta stamped all over it, which is what I really like. And that's the same kind of principle I think that applies to the trainer. The thing I like about Patta collabs, and it's the same with the Travis Scott, is that when you see it from afar, you can immediately recognize it as belonging to a particular brand. And I don't think enough brands stamp their identity on a pair of trainers. A lot of brands, you could say, produce quite lazy collabs, but they might just change the colour, they might just change some materials, but I don't think Patta do that, whether you love it or hate it. When I first saw the Wave on the Air Max 90, I just thought it's not going to work at all. I wasn't impressed, and that's part of the reason why I like this black pair, because the Wave is actually understated because it's kind of black on black. So it has some really incredible details, this pair, and I want to talk through some of those. So obviously you have the Wave on the side, and that Wave is in what I would say is a pebbled kind of leather material. It could be synthetic sort of plastic. Actually, it feels quite rough, but it's got this pebbled tone to it, which is unusual. You have a glossy white swoosh, which is under the Wave. What I like about it on the medial side is that you can see the rear of the swoosh exposed, which is unusual on the Air Max 90. And you have the Wave on the inside. I don't think the Wave looks as good on the inside as it does on the outside. Above that, you have some amazing perf leather, some really good perf leather around the toe box and around the rest of that kind of portion of the trainer. You have a blacked out bubble with hits of gum. So the brown inside is kind of a gum color. You have gum on the eye stay there at the top, eye stay there. Then you have gum on the Air Max symbol on the back of the trainer. The midsole is what I would call sail or off-white, and that's the same with the laces, and so is the inner lining. That's also that color, which I love. I love that vintage look. And you have that all around, and then the bottom of the trainer is black and gum, which is pretty cool. And I just really think the good choices were made on this pair and the white pair. Tongue is made of good leather. You can hear it kind of creaking as I move it, and it's got the Patta logo on the top of the tongue. And then you have this sort of almost holographic window, which has Patta on one side and then Air Max on the other, depending on the angle that you tilt the trainer. So all in all, you've got four colours. You've got black, white, grey, cream, and gum. So 5 colours in total. Pretty understated. I really, really like it. I like the perf leather. I like the kind of material on the toe box. I like the gum. So those are some of the details of the trainer. I'll show in the B-roll as well, so that you get a really clear sense of how the materials on this pair and the white pair differ from the materials on the cyber and the blue pair. So let me talk you a little bit through this release, because it was an interesting release, and I think Patta releases in general are pretty interesting. So it is worth talking about the wave in general. So Patta really throw their all. In fact, Patta are just a really interesting brand, I think. I think they've captured that kind of Afrocentric business nature that you kind of had with old 90s brands like Cross Colors and Fubu and Karl Kani and things like that. American kind of streetwear culture of the 90s, or products from the 90s. And they just have really positive vibes, and I really appreciate that. So I love them as a brand, and there's a store in London, so occasionally when I'm off, I'm able to make a release, and I'll go down to London and try and pick bits and pieces up. And people are so friendly in that shop, in my personal opinion. Whenever you go in there, they're really respectful. They don't look at you like you're trying to get something like certain high-end shops do. But a few years ago, Patta did the whole Wave collection with the Air Max 1. And I actually went down for that collab because I really wanted a pair. So I actually camped out, first time in years. I went the night before the Patta shop. I was there about 5 in the morning, something ridiculous like that, with a seat, and met up with someone that I know. And then you got told to, when the shop kind of opened about 9ish, the bouncers came and said, can you guys move to the square, because you can't be here, there's a square around the corner. And literally the square was, I can't tell you how big, but there were probably 100 and plus people lined around this massive square in central London. And the bouncers came out and gave everyone a ticket, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you get a ticket, 1, 2, 3, 4, you get a ticket. So the demand was massive. You had to come back with your ticket at a certain time that they told you, and then you could purchase a pair. And that's what it's like. And you go into store, they often give you goodies and things like that. So when this wave was announced, I wasn't really feeling the initial teaser shots. I like the blue sapphire pair, but I wasn't initially blown away by them. And then I was able to make the drop, the second drop. The first drop I didn't go to because I wasn't into those pairs, and I just have pairs that look similar. I'll give it a miss. Anyway, I was doing my research for the second launch, and someone said you just need to turn up about 10:30. There's no queue, and you'll be able to get a pair. So I thought, okay, let me give it a shot. Patta opens at 12, so I got there about 10:30, and when I got there, there was no one there. Just some bouncers, the bouncers that I recognised from the launch from before. And I said to them, can I get a ticket for the release of the black and white pair? And they said, there are no tickets. We've already allocated all the sizes. But if you come back at 12, we'll try and see if we can give you anything, like in terms of people don't pick them pairs up, you can come and get them. So I thought, okay, fair enough. There was no one there, so I didn't really know how many pairs were available. You know, I didn't know what the deal was. When sat in the square, saw a few trainer heads. You could tell obviously because they're wearing like Patta trainers, or they just look like the trainers they have are trainer head trainers. And then I thought, you know what, I'll go back at 12. I went back at 11:45, and there was a few people there, maybe 20 people outside the Patta shop. One of the bouncers came up to me and said, what's your name? And I said, well, I haven't got a ticket, because he said the tickets had run out. He said, don't worry about that, just what's your name? So he wrote my name down. And then a different bouncer said to me, he started calling out all these names for the queue, to get people into the queue. So he started calling out people's names, this person here, blah, 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 blah. So all these people start lining up. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm not on the list, it's not a problem. And then he says to me, okay, blue hat and green New Balance. And he pointed at me, and it was me. So I got in the queue at a fairly good spot. Now, people might think I'm a bit of a stan with this, but I was impressed that the bouncer basically had jotted down my details to put me in the queue without saying anything. And then I was in a decent position. I was probably in about, I don't know, about 15th in the queue or something like that. I just feel like Patta, I don't know, it must be from the top, just have these positive vibes. Like, it's just respectful. The whole dealing with Patta, in my experience, has always been respectful. Obviously, I'm a grown-up, so I don't expect to be, the trainer thing's mad. I don't want to be treated like a teenager, and they don't. They treat you with respect, and I love that. So I'm in the queue, I'm chatting to people. It's amazing because everyone in the queue, loads of people are wearing the Sapphire pair and the Cyber pair, and I've never seen them in hand because I've only seen them online, and they actually are better quality than you would think. Like, they look decent. Loads of people are wearing like Patta t-shirts, all Patta stuff. Just the vibes are nice. I'm chatting to people in the queue who are fantastic. The queue's going down bit by bit by bit. I'm thinking I'm in a decent position. I know that this pair here is an in-store only exclusive, so I'm beginning to think, I'm looking at people's feet and I'm thinking, are you a size 11? Are you a size 11? I'm seeing loads of small feet. I'm thinking, do you know what? I might be able to get my pair here. Everyone's saying they don't want the black pair, they want the white pair. Everyone's coming out with the white pair, putting them straight on feet, and the vibe is just good. Someone tried to jump the queue, the bouncer's like, I'm not letting you through. So there was no like rushing of the door, none of that nonsense. I heard the Levi's 95s release was a shambles. None of that at Patta for me. Whenever I've gone there, really well organized. I'm feeling hopeful, I'm feeling hopeful. So we get inside the shop, and if you know, it's a tiny little shop, and I walk in and I'm like, can I have a black pair, a size 11? We've got nothing above a size 10. We haven't got any black pairs hardly, and we've got nothing above a size 10 UK. We've got the white pair, size 10 UK. And so I was a bit stunned because I had just been assuming that whole time I was in a good position in the queue. I was feeling like the trainer gods were looking down on me, smiling. I was disappointed and I was a bit stunned they didn't have pairs because it's London flagship store. I'm walking in, so I was a bit disorientated and didn't know really what to think. With past releases, it's been no issue getting a pair on the resale market because there's been such high stock. So in my head, when I was in the shop, I was thinking, do you know what? I'll get the black pair here and I'll get the white pair online because they'll release on Foot Patrol, they'll release on Size, maybe they'll release on End. The high-end boutiques, they'll all get the white pair, so I'll be able to get them, and if I can't get them, I'll get them cheap on resale. And that never happened. This collection, this Air Max 90 collection is super limited, and I've realised that it is super limited. I just assumed I'd be able to get them quite easily, so I've been kicking myself for the last month that I didn't pick up the white pair in a size 10, so I could have at least used it to flip to get the black pair or some kind of trade bait or something like that. I ended up just picking up this t-shirt because I like this grey t-shirt, and actually seeing people wearing it in the queue, I was like, do you know what, that's a decent t-shirt, and I like to have like bits that go with the trainers. I ended up getting this black and white pair of socks because I really wanted the green chlorophyll pair, but they sold out crazy fast, and this is a double pack, £28, expensive, but it is 2 pairs. I had already bought this pair on the online drop because I'd considered getting, I don't actually know why I bought this pair, but I bought this pair already. I'm in store and I'm buying a few bits, and I said, oh, you know what, go, I'll get the size 10. Then I changed my mind. Literally, the next person who walked in went, can I have a size 10? When they walked in and said, can I have a certain size? I said, oh, we got a size 10 in white. He was like, I'll take them. So he just bought them straight away. I should have done that. I don't know why I didn't think to do that. Randomly behind me, the guy I was in the queue with, he walks in and goes, can I have the size 12 in black? And they're like, yeah, here's a size 12 in black. And I'm like, excuse me, you just told me that there's nothing above a size 10 in the black and you're giving him a UK 12. He was a cool guy. I'm not gonna argue with them. It looks like they had that 12 put aside for him, so he got the 12. So I think, you know, Patta look after people who are loyal, and I don't have any issue with that whatsoever. You could call it backdooring, but I wish Nike was a bit more fair to people who are loyal to them. I spend a lot of money with Nike. They don't give me any preferential treatment, so I think that Patta do a decent job with that. And you know, I'm sure they have friends and family who get pairs, and that is what it is. That's the way the world works. I don't think it's ridiculously unfair. I just think that's the way it is. So anyway, I walked out of the shop a little bit gutted, but do you know what? I come away with a Patta bag. They always give you a crate bag, and also with this launch, there's like a single, like a vinyl single. So I got that. I just thought, you know what, I'll go away and I'll get the white pair later, and I'll try and hunt down the black pair. I thought, no big deal. I walked out, they were like, see you later, you know, all the people who work there, just super cool, super cool. And I kind of walked out and thought, you know what, you win some, you lose some. Bit gutted, but that's life, that's the trainer game. You have to be prepared to take losses now and again. That was it, no trainers, gave up a lot of my time to go up there, but that's life. Later on, it became apparent to me that these pairs are super limited, and I mean super limited. The stock numbers that are kind of floating around on trainer groups are pretty low. I'll put them up so you can see. It doesn't look like there are many pairs at all, and I'm a UK 11, and there were none there were none on the launch day in the shop, none at all. Well, I didn't see any. There might have been a couple of pairs, but I didn't see anyone coming out with big sizes. People weren't walking out with like 4 or 5 boxes. People were coming out with one pair, putting them straight on. So I don't know how much availability there was. Long story short, I saw a pair of 2 pairs online, one white pair, one black pair in my size, £338. The seller is asking for them. I thought, no way, I'm done with this collab. I'm not going to be able to do it. I was actually looking at the cyber pair and the sapphire pair. I just put a like on it, hearted it, and didn't think anything twice of it. A couple of weeks ago, I saw a notification saying that the seller was giving me an offer on the black pair, and I hit them up and I got them for significantly less than £338, under £300. If you look on StockX, they're selling for about £500. There are other pairs online going for about £330. The seller who sold me these has a few other pairs, like in size 14 UK and other sizes, must be linked to Patta in some way. Anyway, this pair came through, bought them. I thought, do you know what? I really like this pair. They are special. Patta collabs with Nike Air Max are fantastic. I'd regret it if I didn't buy this pair. Now and again, I'm willing to pay a bit more. I'm selling pairs, so I'm getting money back, and I just thought, you know what, I like this pair. So I did pull the trigger, and here they are. So in terms of sizing, I would go true to size with these. These are a UK 11. All my Air Max 90s are a UK 11. All my Air Max 1s are a 10.5. But for everything else, Air Max 90s, Jordans, I go for a UK 11, and these fit true to size. In terms of QC, these are actually fantastic. I know that people like the purple and the yellow pair much more, but the materials on this pair I think are much better. You've got perforated leather, and on the tongue the leather is just fantastic. And this pair that I have in hand are really well constructed. I don't have any issues with QC whatsoever. I guess when pairs are fairly limited, they are able to control the quality in greater detail, and that's what I'd find with this pair. So QC, no issues whatsoever as well. So overall, this is a pair that I'm just really super happy with. It was a pair that I wanted when I had my eyes on it. I'd kind of invested in this whole wave a little bit because it was on the Air Max 90, and I love the Air Max 90 so much. So when I bought all the bits and pieces, I was just thinking I'm just gonna have to sell loads of socks. I'm gonna have to sell the socks, or maybe I could wear those Air Max socks with my chlorophyll pair. But when this seller kind of made an offer, there are times when it feels like the trainer was meant to be yours. I don't regret having this pair. This is a pair that is super, super limited. I don't think they were released in the US. I saw online that people in the US were a bit unhappy with the fact that Patta didn't make it available in America, and I can totally understand that. There's pairs that have been released in the US that I really wanted, like the Salehi Bembury New Balance 991 V2s, weren't released in Europe at all. So I think, unfortunately, it is a little bit swings and roundabouts. I think there's some amazing pairs that are made US only, and like you get Asian only exclusives, and we're lucky to be in the region of Patta. I really do believe that. That's why I'll always go up to the shop and support. I haven't bought many Air Max 90s, and I really, really wanted this pair, and I'm just so glad that I was able to get them and it worked out. And I do feel, not that it matters, because it's not about just having, you know, exclusives, but I do feel that this is a pair that will hold its value. And so, you know, worst comes to worst, I can sell these down the road if I need the cash, but I'm hoping not to, and I'm definitely going to wear these and beat them up and enjoy them. So what are your thoughts and feelings in general on this pair? I know that I feel like I'm in the minority in terms of liking this particular colorway. There are 4 pairs. This is my favorite, then the white pair, then the blue pair, then the yellow pair. But they are all nice, and I would say if you're thinking about buying this wave, that actually in hand, and when you see people actually wearing them, they are a really nice trainer. They are much nicer than the Recraft. They're a little bit elevated in quality. I don't think the materials will blow you away on the yellow and the blue pair, but the white and the black pair are incredible. And if you can snap them up for a decent price, I would, because I think going forward, people will realize how limited these pairs are. I don't know why these pairs are so limited, but Nike are definitely going back to that scarcity model that was the trend probably about 4 or 5 years ago. The days of being able to just go in and buy bits and pieces is better than it was, but I think they've realized that that's not really working, and they want the hype, they want the cues, they want all the drama. If you saw the release for the Levi's denim 95s in the London store, it was a shambles. They had to shut the Levi's shop down. It's crazy to me that brands can't manage that in this day and age, but Patta can manage it, and they manage it with respect, and I have to big them up. I'm not a suck up, I'm not getting anything for free, but you know, respect where respect's due. So if you haven't already and liked this video, please share it, please write a comment, that'd be fantastic, and please subscribe, even better. Like I said, I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. I'm really going to go for it to try and grow the channel. If you can support with that, it's all appreciated. I appreciate every view, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.